Hello.
Oh, hey Kyle, how are you?
Not bad. How you doing?
I'm good. Everything is good. Happy release day for Vitriol.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's an exciting day.
How's been the feedback so far for the new album?
Oh, well, I've been awake for about 10 minutes now, so I haven't even really looked or heard yet. But so far, the three songs that have come out, uh, the response has been really overwhelming, and what a relief after working on this thing for 4 years, finding out that people dig it.
Was it surprised that the good feedback that extreme music gets, especially yours?
Yeah, there's a part of me that's pleasantly surprised that there are that many people that are interested in music this dense and challenging to listen to. Um, but there's another part of me that knows how much work and love we put into this music. So
Yeah,
it's also not kind of in a way surprising. So it's a double edged thing.
yeah. And the video that came out today, I
Oh,
had
yeah,
I'll be honest, I had to stop.
good, awesome. Actually, that's actually kind of we're hoping for some of that. So good.
I had to stop, and then I was like, no, I need to watch it. And then I stopped again, and I finally, honestly, I was like, oh my God, what's happening here? Let's, I needed to guide me through that because everything that we see there is real. Those hooks going through the skin, you being ang, it's, you know, I love horror movies, but, but it's a movie. you know?
Yeah,
But when you see like real people going through something like that, it's kind of anyway.
yeah.
But how was all that experience? Because it's not an easy thing to like. First of all, to do, and I don't know if if I saw the freaking hook, I probably would just run as fast as I could.
Yeah, man. It was it was something I have a little experience with because I was in the body modification industry for a little over 10 years. I was a piercer. So this practice is called suspension, is something I've done once before in my life, and I've facilitated it for other people. Like I've put hooks in other people in the past. Um, so it was something that uh, I felt like we really wanted a way to show our fans that we really mean what we do. You know what I mean? That this is I think with metal there's always this kind of expectation or suspicion of false bravado, guys trying to be pretending to be fucking, if I'm writing music about suffering, I want my fans to know that I'm familiar with suffering.
Yeah,
I want them to know that I'm not talking out of my ass,
yeah,
and that um, pain is not just a subject matter, an edgy subject matter for a metal band. That's something that is really important to us as people. So it was just a really cool opportunity for us to prove to ourselves how much this means to us. So when Adam and I got done with it, it was, we were riding that high for like 2 weeks. It felt really good to literally suffer for your art in that way. And I thought it was a perfect way to cap off the rollout of an album called Suffer and Become. It was some extreme, very real suffering.
it's a funny thing because obviously you talked about the bravado. Some people, you see a lot of guys that, they really talk tough, but when it comes to walk,
Yeah. Yeah. Like I saw our promo photos, there's blood coming down my face, and plenty of people commenting like, "Oh, a sword and fake blood," and it's like, it's not fake. I cut my face. That's real blood. Like people just expect. People assume. People are so used to everything being fake
yeah,
that they don't even open themselves to the possibility that something's real.
yeah,
So I felt like this video, and some people might be like, "Oh, what are you trying to prove with this video?" I'm trying to prove a lot with this video. I'm not ashamed to say that. Yeah, I'm trying to prove a lot. I'm trying to prove a lot to myself. I'm trying to prove a lot to my fans. Like if I was a fan of Vitriol, I would want to know that they know what the fuck they're talking about.
yeah.
That would matter to me as a fan. So yeah, I'm absolutely trying to prove stuff to our fans.
Yeah.
Um,
I see, let's go to the most extreme, like the black metal bands, a lot of them, talking about all these like Satan and satanic subjects. And when you really talk to them and you know them, it's the biggest farce.
yeah,
It's like, okay, so you're talking about something that you actually don't believe or preach, really. So it's just like a kiss with makeup.
and it's a shame because it undermines the whole thing, and it makes it. I mean, I get it. Those are the bands. Usually, the bands that have more of a superficial relationship with those things tend to become more popular because they're less intimidating for people. Yeah. I mean, that's the truth. Frankly, bands that are really devotional and sincere are, I don't know, some people, as someone who has friends that like the music but not always the philosophies behind it, I know how uncomfortable like the really sincere bands make them. Yeah. So it makes sense, but it's a shame. And that was kind of my whole part of my mission statement with Vitriol, is to break through the crust, to work hard enough that a band like us could break through the crust of, like, I don't want to say mainstream, but you know what I mean? Like of extreme music. And kind of show people, like, I don't know, I would never say something like I want to be like Slayer, but like I would love to have a similar impact on my fans that Slayer had on their fans back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah, I miss Slayer. It's fun. When they announced like the last tour and everything, I saw them probably like 4 or 5 times, during those. I tried to go to. I saw them in Ireland a couple of times, then in Portugal, and in England, and I just wanted to take the chance to see probably one of the most impactful bands, say, goodbye. And for me, what it's really like, unlike Motley Crue, it seems to be really the end for them. They don't sign any contract. Fortunately, they did go for that bullshit. And we all know how that ended up anyway with Motley Crue. But, it's a shame that, that Slayer is no longer, playing live, but at least they left on a high, and, they didn't degrade themselves or anything like that. And, I just fucking miss Slayer. It's just one of those bands that, they're really, really good.
I think they're the greatest heavy metal band of all time. I mean, that's my opinion. I think there are bands musically that maybe, if it was purely just on like music, might be bands that I would, consider over, but overall, like, full package, I don't think there's ever been a better or more sincere metal band. And Jeff Hanneman specifically, I think Hanneman very specifically was one of the realest motherfuckers that this genre has ever seen and will ever see.
Yeah.
What a gift that mind was for his generation.
Yeah, I remember seeing, Slayer, obviously with Jeff and still with Dave Lombard and everything. It was, really special shows. And, every time you look at Ant-Man, you mean fucking business,
Yeah.
It was really like that punk, attitude kind of guy that, you don't fucking mess with him. People were afraid of Richie Blackmore back in the day, to be on the side of his stage because he was fucking crazy. But if I was the chance to be on stage with Slayer, I would be as far as possible from Jeff. He didn't seem like the kind of guy who would be safe to be standing next to him.
Yeah, that guy really, I mean, the punk attitude is a really great, uh, quality that I think a lot of people don't think of when they think of Slayer. But yeah, I think Hanneman was one of the last like truly punk rebel metal guys. You know what I mean? He really just, no one had the balls back then to write music like that. And I don't think, even if people did now, I'm not sure if they could. You know what I mean? I don't think the world would let them. So it's weird. It's almost like Slayer. I mean, who knows what's going to happen in future generations, but we might never see a Slayer again,
Yeah. And, going back to this record, you talked about like 4 years to make the record. Is it a painful process for you to write music?
Oh, there's nothing more painful. Yeah. Like nothing brings me more grief and sadness and self-loathing and defeat than trying to write music. But as above, so below, and on the other end of that, it's equally as rewarding as it is defeating process. But yeah, I do not have fun making music.
You get really annoyed and angry sometimes.
Yeah, it's just not. I don't know. I mean, that was like it was actually a big insecurity growing up as a creative because I felt like I always heard these, accounts from musicians around me, or hear about these. Oh, we never tried to get, we never tried to make things happen with the band. We were just having fun and da 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 da. And oh man, I played guitar for 8 hours today and I lost track. I was like, man, maybe I shouldn't be a musician because I can't relate to any of this shit. I don't have fun playing guitar. I don't have fun writing music. I don't have fun doing any of this shit. Like, what's wrong with me? Maybe I should go be a fucking dentist or something. I don't know. But I don't know. Now it's kind of like a point of pride. My buddy Dylan, who painted the album cover, we're very close, and he similarly doesn't enjoy his work. And he's like, I think here's the problem, Kyle. He's like, I think we just try too hard to like what we do. I was like, that's probably true. I just think we spread ourselves so thin. We empty so much of ourselves for the thing that it's kind of impossible to enjoy it while it's happening. But when it's done, it's like I said, it's the most rewarding thing.
Yeah, you are your own worst critique then.
Oh yeah. You gotta be, because if you're not, someone else is going to be.
And you know what?
You may as well be the guy.
And you don't want to hear that from someone else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's a great rule in personal life too. Fix that terrible shit about yourself so other people don't have to tell you about it.
It's difficult sometimes. I understand exactly because, sometimes I don't, I remember going to a psychologist, and because we all have those times in life where, what the fuck am I going to do? Where am I going? Whatever it is. And, I remember going to psychologists, and there were sessions that I left more angry than I got in.
Yeah.
Because, I understood after he was just projecting what I was saying, but I wasn't hearing exactly, what I was saying. So he told me, and I was like, no, it's not that. It's something else. No, it's.
Yeah.
There were like a couple sessions I was just like, what? Why am I spending fucking money on this guy? He's annoying me now.
Yeah, man. It's I as a guy who sees a therapist weekly and uh, psychiatrist every once in a while. Oh, I think it's hugely helpful, and that's really what I mean. This album is really in the spirit of that painful self excavation. Like really trying to, it gets worse before it gets better.
Yeah.
And therapy is definitely that. And I think that surprises people is that, I mean, it can just sometimes be uncomfortable because you have a bad therapist, but, but also if you have a really good therapist, it's going to be very painful, because the shit that really, they're like what I tell, especially talking about metal and bravado, I think therapy is a commonly misunderstood thing. And as someone who's been in and out of therapy much of my life, I can say that no one's trying to tell you what you are. No one's trying to tell you what's wrong with you or how to fix it. If they are, go find a different therapist. It's kind of like having a guide. It's like having a Marco Polo partner. Like warmer, colder, warmer, colder. And they kind of help you look at parts of yourself that are so ugly, or parts of your life or past, or feelings that are so shameful that you avoid looking at them on your own.
Yeah.
And then they end up manifesting in really ugly ways in your life, and makes you show up as a person you don't want to show up as. That's all a therapist does, a good one. It's going to help you have a conversation with yourself.
Yeah.
And it can be super annoying because they can just be like, I don't know. What do you think? And you're like, what exactly? What the fuck am I paying you for? I could have a conversation with a wall. But if you do it for like a year, it's like the gym.
Yeah.
Like it's just like therapy's just like the gym. Like you're going to go, you're not going to see any results. You're going to go for a month, you're going to go for 2 months, and you're going to be sore, and you're going to be annoyed, and you're going to be tired, and you're like, what the fuck am I doing this? If you just keep going, if you just trust in the process, you're going to wake up one day and you're going to be like, oh, whoa, I have muscles now,
Oh, there's abs. They're real. They're not just.
Yeah, it's not a myth. Yeah.
And music-wise, I want to talk about your guitar playing because, looking to a video of Shame and its Afterbirth, I was very intrigued with your style of guitar picking, because there are times it seems that you're going, on a vertical, attacking the strings on a vertical way. Just explain to me, that technique and why you use it, because, we are taught to, just play normally or horizontally, just like that. And then you see like a guy going like this, and I'm like, what is happening here? Guide me through that. I'm very curious about that technique.
Trying to think what part exactly when you say vertical.
It was like more in the arpeggios part of thing. I think you go really like going like this.
With my right hand?
Yeah. Right hand.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. That's just my own, I think with sweep picking, which is that technique, everyone develops their own little unique style. For me, everyone has a different kind of wrist, if they use more of just their wrist movement, or if they use kind of elbow. For me, I got a really consistent sweeping technique by using more of my elbow and even a little bit of my arm. So rather than moving it kind of in this like fulcrum way, it's more of like a level kind of way that helps me like harp the strings a little bit more, rather than when you're picking, that's wrist. Like when I'm doing like riffing picking, that's all in here. So that makes the pick attack at more of a like that diagonal with the scoop, like, you know, kind of the pick kicked forward. But when I'm sweeping, I want the pick really perpendicular to the strings.
Yeah.
And then as I glide across them, I'm going like tilting it a little bit this way, going across, and then tilting it a little bit this way and coming back that way.
Yeah.
So I don't really think about that as I'm doing it. It's just like, you know, developing the muscle memory. But yeah, they're cool. No one really asks about that stuff. Thanks for asking that.
No, I ask because, you know, at the end of the day, you know, I did play guitar, you know, back in the day. I sucked at it. And, you know, I sucked because I never could play the songs that I wanted to play. And I probably should have started with the Beatles instead of starting with Slayer or something like that. And, you know, again, it's the lack of patience in me that, you know, to play guitar, you need time, you need to practice, you need to really, you know, be patient. And I'm not any of that. You know, I want stuff done for yesterday. I don't want to wait for tomorrow.
I can relate very much. It's hard for me to. I ran before I could walk too with my guitar playing. You know, like I bit off way more than I can chew. I still do. I always like, rather than, you know, I didn't start with the fucking Beatles either. You know, like I just wanted to go straight to playing metal. I was like, I don't care. I just want to make the music that I like. So for a while it was like faking it until you make it, you know, like, I mean, even on the first record, I'm a much better guitar player now than I was on the first record. I mean, 4 years of relentless touring and tracking at home will do that to you. But yeah, there's stuff on the first record that I wasn't like nailing, but the intensity was right, the idea was right, and I was chasing it close enough that I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna fucking put this on here. You know, like I think that's part of Vitriol's charm. So we don't really care if, you know, we're just gonna go for it. You know, we might biff it, but you know, we're gonna go for it.
Do you like practice? Do you have like exercises to practice, or you just like to play a freaking song and that's it?
I practice. I don't like practice every day or like when we have downtimes. Like for instance, I haven't played guitar. I've plucked around casually on a guitar, but I haven't like sat down and played guitar seriously. Well, that's not true. I went since the album was done. I think I probably spent about 2 months without playing guitar, but I think that's really good, especially for your technique. Just kind of piggybacking on your question about the picking technique. What I find really interesting that guitar players don't talk about enough is how muscle memory is programmed. And you don't only have to program new muscle memory, you actually have to forget old muscle memory.
Yeah.
And a really great way for your brain to really entrench those new movements and discard those old ones is to just stop playing guitar for a long time. Is weird. It sounds counterintuitive, but if you like work on something, like you work on a new technique, like for me, there was a period in my playing career where I was getting, it's about 5 years ago, I was getting really bad tendonitis in my elbow.
Yeah.
Like every time I did this, you could hear a really loud pop. And it was because I was just too brutish with my picking. I was doing too much of my elbow and I was like tense and flexing because I'm, you know, get really mad when I play guitar. And I had to do my picking from the ground up. I had to go home, sit down, really focused on wrist isolation, wore a compression band on my elbow to limit my elbow movement. And the best way for those changes to take was for me to work on it and then take time off. And then when I came back, it's like it was all wrist, no elbow. So if musicians out there are having trouble with fighting bad habits, try that.
Yeah, my work. And what was the longest song? What was the song that took the most time to finish on these records? Do you have any recollection of that?
Yeah. I mean, He Will Fight Savagely took a long time to track. Uh, it'd have to be Shame in Its Afterbirth. Shame in Its Afterbirth took the longest. I mean, there's just like, I think there's a portion in that song where there's 6 guitar parts going at the same time. It's just like that was like a cathedral building that song. Um, that's partly why it's my favorite song. It's just such a spectacle, you know.
And I know you were a big fan of Morbid Angel as well. You guys had the chance to to tour, and I was surprised when you said Steve Tucker is your favorite Morbid Angel singer, because it's almost like an heresy to say that.
Yeah, no,
Like,
yeah,
don't forget David Vincent. Come on, the original. But I understand. I know I think he brought a more brutal sound to Morbid Angel. I actually enjoyed the Tucker records as well. But I'm a Covenant and Blessed Are the Sick.
I love I love the David Vincent records too, but for me, yeah, like you said, I mean, you nailed it on the head when you said he brought a brutality to Morbid Angel that I think was like the chef's kiss. For me, like Formulas is my favorite record.
Yeah, it's a great record. It's a great.
Uh,
I was that tour. I was playing and watching Morbid Angel play. Every night.
it was unbelievable, man. It was a kid at a candy store. I mean, and then to add to that, like 5 days in, to see Steve Tucker coming out in a Vitriol t-shirt was like, pinch me, I'm fucking dreaming. So yeah, to earn those dudes respect, to go on tour with them, let alone earn their respect, was insane. I'm not sure if we can, you probably can't see it. Oh, right here. I got a cigarette burn from Trey Azagthoth on my arm right there. Yeah. I was like, he's a wild dude, Trey. And he's comfortable with pain too. So I was like, man, can I have a souvenir? Last day of tour. I'm like, you want to give me a souvenir? You want to burn this wolf's eye out for me? And he did for me. And that's basically I have like a Trey tattoo right here.
You didn't do like the side guy to have like a cross like on the head.
Yeah, no Glenn Benton.
Glenn,
Maybe next time. Maybe next time.
Would you go that far? Do you think, I remember back in the day listening to today's side and, the stories, the way that he talked, and he said that we would be dead by 33, the age of, supposedly that Jesus died. And well, yet he still is around.
Yeah.
But would you ever do anything like that, like really, burn an inverted cross in your forehead?
I mean, if I felt so compelled, I don't feel that's not really that's not a statement I care to make,
Yeah.
With my body. But I mean, I'm covered in blatantly satanic tattoos. So it's obviously not something I'm trying to hide. I just don't, I mean, I hung from hooks for a music video.
Yeah.
So I mean, clearly I'm willing to, but yeah, no, I don't think that would do me or anybody else any favors to cut a big cross on my forehead. But mad respect to Glenn for going for it.
Yeah, I think I mean, at least again, we talked about people talking, and
oh yeah,
it's a different thing, and he actually did that, and it was something that made an impact, and people believe that this guy is serious about what he's singing about, and to this day he's still going for it anyway. And I always interested in listening to their side anyway, whatever they put out new music. And Kyle, before I let you go, you probably have more interviews to do. I don't want to keep.
Sorry for my long answers.
No, it's
sorry.
okay. You guys going to tour the US? What about Europe? Is there any plans?
We are hoping to get over there before the year is over. So we're hoping to make it to Europe by the end of 2024. No guarantees, but we're really our management and the band are really pushing for it. We've been trying to get back out there since our first tour of 2019. So,
and there was a pandemic that fucked everything up.
Yeah, devastating. Yeah, we've been scheduled to go back to Europe like 3 different times, and each time it was canceled, and it crushes us because, man, we like playing the States, but Europe, metal, they just respect metal more.
Yeah.
It's just taken more seriously there, and it's just a better experience. I love the States, and I love all of our fans in the States. It's a different vibe, but Europe, you feel like, I don't know. It's just more of it's better.
Yeah. And, one thing I can assure you about Europe, and, from my recent experience here in Portugal, it's the crowds are getting crazier again. And when I mean crazier, I mean fucking crazy, like they were in the 80s and the 90s. Really fucking crazy. I was at a concert like a couple of weeks ago. There was no barrier. It was a small club. There was no barrier. I am a photographer as well, and I just got pushed against the rail that was in front of the stage, and I was in so much fucking pain. And I was like, I'm getting too old for this shit. Give me a photo, please. And I'll just go to the back in my corner and, fuck all of you. Have fun. Yes, but I cannot do that anymore. So when you come back to Europe, if you play Portugal, you're just going to see the fucking madness,
Well, now we have to go. Now you don't have a choice. Portugal, we're coming. And you better not disappoint us now.
Well, if they disappoint you, I'll just immigrate somewhere else. You've never heard of me.
Yeah, because I missed that, man. That's when that's what I noticed after COVID. I think it made people feral again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
just great.
Yeah, I think that's the right word. Kyle, thank you very much for your time. Suffer and Become. It's a fantastic record. It's one of those brutal records that it's enjoyable to listen, if that's possible. I know it's a bit contradicting itself, but it is enjoyable to listen to.
That's the hope.
Yeah, it's a brutal record. And, I hope to see you guys in Portugal, if not this year, maybe next year. So fingers crossed, and I hope to see you soon, all right?
Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity.
Have a great day and see you soon, all right? Thank you.
Well, bye-bye.
Bye.